please welcome now to the stage, Dr. Anthony Drew.
Thank you, Martin. Give it up for Martin, everybody. Putting together such a diverse show and microaggressing every nationality along the way. We gotta love him for it, you know? Gotta be forgiving. I think you guys can tell by my accent I'm not from here. I come from America. I've been in London. Thank you, Americans. Whoa. Did you bring your gun? I left mine at home. Mine's at home. I don't need it here. It's so nice. It's my favorite thing about this country. Anyway, so I am from America, and I thought like I have an easy time here speaking the language. But I don't understand anything you guys say. You make up stuff all the time. You say things like Warwickshire and treacle and crumpets and what? Yeah, and all that stuff. I'm like, all I know is that I'm a poofta that likes fats. Have I gotten that right? Have I gotten that right? I'm also a microaggressor. It's okay. It's okay. We're all here to have fun. So I am a doctor, but I'm not a medical doctor, though. I'm just a PhD. Yeah, something my mother reminds me of frequently. When I graduated, she said, I'm not calling you doctor. Doctors have prescription pads. Doctors save lives. What do you have, a book? I said, yeah, Ma, it's called a dissertation. When you have your finger up someone's ass making sure everything's okay, that's when I'll call you doctor. So I said to her, Ma, then you should have been calling me doctor since I'm 22, okay? Shut up, you have no idea how many asses this finger has been up. And this one even more, yeah. I'm an ambidextrous ass fingerer. It's the wonders it never cease. Anyway, don't feel bad for my mother. Her preferred pronouns are those people. Okay, so we gotta keep her in check. Yeah. Listen, I love that I'm on a variety show, and I once was booked on a pole dancing and comedy show. Except I wasn't booked as a comic. Okay? I never got more laughs in my life. Let me tell you, these ladies up here dancing, we got boys dressed like girls, girls dressed like drag queens. I don't know who's what gender up here. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. But if I tried to do this burlesque stuff, you'd have to NHS me the hell out of here. I can't even bend down to tie my shoe. I don't know. Anyway, I am a professor turned comic because I'm a responsible person. That's right, I did my backup plan first, got my PhD, got tenure at a university, and now I'm flushing it all down the toilet to be here at the Camden Cabaret tonight. Thank you. That is the encouragement I need. Thank you. Hashtag I made the right choice. Yeah, I do that to connect with the young people that come into my office. Like I say, hashtag you didn't pass. Yeah, it really eases the blow. Hashtag this is offered again next year. Yeah, so it's good to connect with the young people. But I do like my job, the paycheck and the benefits, so I've been doing the whole nail polish thing. Because nobody is firing a homosexual with painted nails, not in this climate. Some people call this good as gold, I call it job security. By Essie, so he could get away with anything at work. Actually, at work, my preferred pronouns are they, them. It's like an extra layer of protection, you know? So they, them is gonna be doing this here for a while. All right, this jerk though, the other day, looks at my nails, and he looks at me, and he's like, you're the gayest person I've ever met. I was like, what a thing to say. So I gave it to him. I said, well, then you haven't met my friend Jeffrey. He's the gayest person you'll ever meet, and he's fabulous. Dad. You get it? Because both my parents are questionable people, and now I'm here doing comedy. That's novel and original. Wow, we got the lesbian cackling. I'm on a roll! Yeah! So I have to say, I haven't been in London in a long time, and it's been really nice. The last time I was here was eons ago, and it was like dark and dismal, and now everybody here is really polite. I mean, Brexit has done wonders for you guys, is what I'm saying. I'm just kidding, but the diversity in this city, Like, I have never seen so many shades of white in my life. It's so white here. I don't know, it's not, but it's so white. Anyway, that's all my my own racist material, okay? It's against white people, so it doesn't count. Yeah. And I'm ethnically ambiguous, and I'm not going to tell you. So that way, I'm protected. Got to keep this gig going, you know what I'm saying? Have you guys ever noticed that people get really offended when you misgender their dogs? I was in a lift the other day. Excuse me, I gotta translate. I was in a lift the other day, not an elevator, and this woman and her dog came in, and I said, "Who's the big boy? Who's the big boy?" And she's like, "She's a girl." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." "Who's a little heavy? Who needs to go on a diet?" That joke points out the inequalities. I don't need to explain that to you guys. You is woke. You know, Brits used to make fun of Americans for being overweight, and you guys are catching up in this country. Holy shit. I've never seen more KFCs and Taco Bells on a block in my life. Oh my gosh. So I was at a party the other day, and this little girl sat down next to me, like a child, 7-year-old girl. She took a sip from her juice box and looked up at me, and I took a sip from my box of wine and looked down at her. And I was like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" She's like, "Oh, that's my dad over there." I'm like, "Oh, I know your dad. He's a nice guy." "Not really. He doesn't like to talk about fairies and unicorns." "Do you want to talk about fairies and unicorns?" And I said, "Honey, I could write a book on fairies and unicorns. You sit down, let's chat." Well, a little while later, her dad comes over and says the worst thing ever. "It's time to go." You can imagine what a fit. Screaming, crying, stomping on the floor. The little girl was upset too. I said, please, can't she stay a little bit longer?" He's like, "It's all fun and games now. You're not the one that's going to be woken up at 5 a.m. to daddy. And I thought to myself, if I'm lucky, I am. You don't know my life. You don't know my life. Hashtag Silver Fox, yeah, all right, thank you. A Silver Fox right there. You know, I took a burlesque class once, and I got an A in cat meowing. Yeah, you know, so I can't mix burlesque and comedy, though. It's too funny. You don't know what to laugh at, the dancing or the words. It's confusing. We're here to have fun. So I come from a little village in the States called New York City. Have you heard of it? Let me tell you, one of my favorite things about the last 3 years in New York has been all the protests, okay? We got protests like we got subways. In fact, it's easier to get around town on a protest than it is on the subway. We've gotten so accustomed to the protests, we talk about them like the subway. I'll give you an example. If you want to go from my neighborhood to Brooklyn, you're going to go to Union Square and get on the Black Lives Matter protest heading downtown, okay? You're going to want to stay on that all the way through to Canal Street, where you transfer in solidarity to the crosstown protest that brings you to Brooklyn, a diverse neighborhood, lots of protests in lots of different directions. Do not get on the Vegans Lives Matters protest. You will not get very far, okay? Instead, what you do is you take the vegetarians for BLM. It's like the difference between the local and the express, okay? But watch out for the meat eaters protest. They come through pretty quickly. And then the farmers for whatever. I ran out of protests, I'm sorry. I ended up taking an Uber like everybody else, you know? Anybody here love to travel? You guys having a good conversation back there? I love it. I love when people talk when I'm talking. It's my favorite. I really do. I wish you would do it louder and maybe up here with me. I don't know. It's just my favorite thing sometimes. I'm a professor, and if we were in class, I would say the same exact thing. And that's why I have the lowest ratings in the department. And that's why they sent me on sabbatical. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go travel the world. Anyway, when I was 22, I traveled. I went to Italy, and I'm walking home one night to my hotel, and this guy winks at me, so I wink back at him. I didn't speak a lick of Italian. He didn't speak a lick of English. We got a lot of licking done, is what I'm saying. We went back to my hotel. And when we were done, he got dressed and he started throwing money at me. And this was like And I was like, no, I was doing it for the fun of it. And he thought I was haggling him up, so he starts throwing more money at me. And this was back in the day of the lira, and now I'm getting turned on. I'm like, give it to me, baby, give it to me. 40,000 lira later, $20 US, okay? But listen, hear me out. Prorated for the hour, I had an excellent career as a sex worker, is what I'm saying. I should have stayed in that business. It was a lot more fun. Just kidding, you got really alarmed. You're like, you wouldn't have made a lot of money. But I think I would have. So, anyway, I want to tell you guys, before I give my last joke, I want to say, my name is Dr. Anthony Drew, Dr. Anthony Drew, Dranthony Drew. You can follow me on Instagram. I post comedic content. Sometimes I do a thirst trap where I'll show my shoulder. I've got a beauty mark. It's very salacious, okay? But if I'm really feeling randy, I put the phone on the ground and say good morning with my asshole in 3 languages, okay? Depending on what I ate the day before, okay? So follow me if you want to know what French sounds like tomorrow, alright? But anyway, before I go, really important, thank you guys. And go lesbian, that's my spirit animal. Get it right there. Into all lesbian things but the pussy. So, replace the pussy with dick and I'm in. I love overalls. I love taking my cat to the vet. So, yeah. But I'm in the market for new headphones because I used wired ones. And if you're wondering, they get caught on everything. They rip out of my ear. It's a disaster. I need to modernize. But I can't get those white ones because I have an Android. And so I've been looking around and I saw this guy and I was like, I really like your headset. Where did you get it? And he's like, I'm deaf. It's a cochlear implant, you motherfucker. And I was like standing behind him and a little to the right and he heard me perfectly. So I was like, wow, are they Android compatible? And yeah, the sign for Android is phone stroke face, Android. And he said to me, who the fuck uses an Android? And I said to him, nothing, because that's all the sign language I know for this joke, okay? My name is Dr. Anthony Drew. Thank you guys so much.